Still simply 2 base now. Their 4th pickup. They are yet to pick up another core. And it will be the Wraith King popping up, which now makes me feel like the Jug is not a good pickup. As the Wraith King does not care for your spin. He literally has one button to press.
Yeah, it's very complicated here. No, 2 buttons, Mike. 2 buttons. You summon the skeletons now as well.
All right.
So it's a bit more involved, that Wraith King, but it's a really good pick for 2 base. Gives them push, gives them good team fight. They've got sustain for the Phoenix to pump into the Wraith King if they need to. You've got maybe something to tie up with, say, throwing yourself in the first life while the egg's running down. Then you die, the slow's in place, you can't reach the egg, it blows up, Wraith King cleans up. So there's a lot of back and forth with what 2-Based has on hand. Electronic Boys, they're going to need something that can D-push a bit. I mean, the Cottle's there to kind of take care of their skeletons, but you still sort of worry about that Wraith King. I'd say a PL might be an option, like Diffusal Blade early on. Wraith King needs to buy the Ag Shard now to not have to worry about Reincarnation mana, so the PL could cause some issues in the mid to early game there. If you do get that good timing to Diffusal for speed, kind of ties in well with the rest of your lineup as well. So you could still go for that illusion spam here for Electronic Boys if they want.
Yeah, that does seem like a pretty viable option for Electronic Boys. And for now, they'll pick up the Bristlebacks. That should be the off lane of Electronic Boys. I suppose he doesn't care too much about the Wraith King when it comes to laning stage. And in fact, he doesn't care about the Phoenix either. So you kind of ensure that the Bristle is going to have a pretty nice time in the lane. And of course, it's Coddle plus Bristleback. So you are going to have unlimited mana and unlimited quill sprays and nasal goo being thrown at you. So I do like this pick from Electronic Boys, but I don't think it solves the problem of the Wraith King quite yet. And as well as that, if we're talking team fights, you can just get Astraled as a Bristle. And it kind of makes it so you're not really doing anything. Especially if you do go for the Aghanim Scepter build on the OD, then you're just permanently Astraled. And you are pretty much really just not doing a thing in these team fights. So I'm happy with the Bristle pick, but at the same time, I'm kind of questioning how it's going to pan out once we hit the mid to late game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Eboys does with a Bristleback off. As you mentioned, Cottle Bristle is still a good combo, so the spam is still in play. Wondering if the Bristle does get something like the Shard this game. Again, I was having talks with a good friend here in Southeast Asia. Is it Hairball? Or I forget what it's called. It's like a hairball.
Everyone
he
keeps
spits
saying
it out
hairball.
like a hairball.
Yeah.
It is kind of like that. We'll see if that comes out. Gives you a way of at least initiating. It's not quite like hard CC, but it's still a decent thing to throw out before a fight starts. Do like that 2-base does ban out the PL. So no option for that illusion spam now, and no option for the Jug as well. So Electronic Boys gonna have to find something else. Perhaps the Lifestealer's a choice, Slark is a choice. If they wanted to, not particularly amazing, but I think you've got some ways of dealing with the OD. Would say the Lifestealer, just a built-in BKB, makes it easier to deal with that pure damage coming through, and Wraith King is a strength hero, so you can kind of feast through him if you want to.
They could also go Ultra Greed and pick up something like a Medusa and just make her sit in the back and just hit people. But no, they go for the Riki. I don't think that Speed is going to go for the Diffusal Blade pickup on the Riki, and I wouldn't recommend it anyway because I don't think you're going to burn enough mana to actually, force the Reincarnation to not have enough mana to pop. Probably will still go for the standard Battle Fury into the Aghanim Scepter. And of course, with all the skeletons around, you can get some pretty massive cleave damage with that Tricks to the Trade and Battle Fury. That being said, the Riki, if it does not go off to a great start, I don't know how I feel about it. Like later on into the game, obviously it's still very strong once you have the Ag's Battle Fury up. We've seen this before though, and last time we saw this from Electronic Boys, it did not look great.
Yeah, it's really just down to how fast Speed can get his items in this game. 2-base, they go with a Viper. It was in the pool. This is why Bristleback isn't too common, because a Viper can just pop right out. The innate break that Viper has, it's just really annoying for a Bristleback to deal with. Like, he's still going to have that early game spike, but down the line, the durability you'd expect from the Bristle is not going to be lining up there. We're going to have to see how it does blow out. Going to be down to how much Electronic Boys can get from that lane. Speed, if he hits that Battle Fury timing, as you mentioned, can really start to run down. Like he's got the Bristleback or the Void Spirit to jump into as well as the Pocket Ricky to get the damage off early on. And that could cause some issues for Two-Based if they're not ready. But they do have some answers in their draft, and Two-Based, they kind of want to play fast as well. But they do have some excellent scaling with the Raid King. That can take them towards the late game if they want. So a good back and forth. Interesting shakeup in the draft. We do at least have a Kotl combination, which we haven't seen with all the Kotl pickups. So it's just down to Electronic Boys maximizing that early on.
That was such a great last pick from Simply TOOBASED, that Viper. I mean, not only are you going to be able to deal with the Bristleback back now with the break, but speed on this Ricky is not going to have a good laning stage against the offlane Viper from Monkeys Forever. Yeah, you can Trickster the Trade and Blink Strike away, but it doesn't change the fact that you are going to suffer quite a bit in terms of just burning through your regen. And I think this is actually going to be quite a painful time for the safe lane of Electronic Boys. And unfortunately for them, they don't really have much of an opportunity to switch up the lanes either. They are kind of just stuck throwing him in the safe lane up against the Viper. So Simply TOOBASED, I mean, you go into this game, they already look like they have the better draft going into this. I have a feeling you would agree with me on that, John, that they are probably looking better just based on draft. Electronic Boys, they've got to hit their timings this game. If they do not get off to a good start, it's going to be quite painful, I think.
Yeah, really going to be tough on them if you don't get that timing on. It's really down to Battle Fury has to come out quick. And as you mentioned, Viper lane is never fun, no matter what hero you have. Even that Ricky's not going to enjoy that too much. So we're going to have to wait and see how these lanes unfold. It should make for a good game, though. A lot of back and forth, a lot of explosive timings come mid-game. So I am looking forward to how these teams shape up, building into that timing.
A lot of pressure is there on Giant as well on that Bristleback. Like, he's going to have to make a lot of space for speed to be able to get that quick Battle Fury up. I think they've already kind of accepted the fact that the laning stage is probably not going to go very well for them. So I think Giant's going to have a lot of pressure on his side of things to make sure that he can set a nice tempo and momentum for the team along with Mio. And just try to get the plays being made ASAP. Which he definitely can get done with the Keeper of the Light behind him. You generally just have no downtime as the Bristleback with a Kotl behind you. See how it does pan out as the top rune spot once again going to be surrounded by 3 heroes from the side of TOOBASED.
30 seconds to battle.
Speed not going to even bother going past the tier 1 tower. He's just going to hide behind it. Make sure he does not put himself in harm's way. I'm sure Empyrean will just go for the TP back down to the safe lane afterwards as well. Now this lane's going to really suck. Earth Spirit Viper it's a disgusting lane. It's really, really disgusting to play against.
It's no fun. We're going to have to watch just how much Speed can do and just how much Albino Zebra can do to kind of counteract that early on. He is just not going to be amazing. Like Ricky Witch Doctor can maybe make some plays once you hit level 2, level 3 with a Maledict cast, but you're jumping into a Viper. That can be a bit tanky early on, especially if you can get some good casts of a Nether Toxin, some good stacks of Poison Attack, Z-Freak. Of course, we've seen him in game 1 just be really disruptive in lane. He might go for that pull movement once more. With the early aggressive ward this time around, though, does mean that Z-Freak might look for maybe more of kill ops onto the backline here early on.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to go ahead and push in that wave straight off the bat with the Nether Toxin. Pretty standard stuff. You want to hit that level 2 on both your heroes so you can be quite effective. Z-Freak will want the roll to really get aggressive here onto Albino Zebra. He's going to go ahead and just pull the wave away. This is your standard Viper and Earth Spirit play. Just constantly pushing in the wave and then pulling it back. Pushing it in and just pulling it back over and over again. They even block the large camp to make sure that Albino Zebra can't force the equilibrium back his way. So it's already some very nice play in this off lane by Z-Freak and Monkeys Forever. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Annihilate is going to be up against Mio. Mio off to a pretty good start, 6-2 on the Void Spirit, but Annihilate, as the levels go up, should be able to catch up fairly easily. Of course, he has opted for the Arcane Orb early on, just to really be able to harass out Mio. It does look to be very effective already.
Again, this is a repeat from game number 1. Good D ward coming out from Annihilate. So taking away some of that rune vision that they would have had, and Mio now just needs to hold out. Again, he needs his supports to be more active for those power runes, especially the first one at the 4-minute mark. If you give that away to Annihilate again, I think that lane might end up with the same result as we saw last time. So much more emphasis has to come out here from the supports down mid.
Certainly so. Down towards the bot lane, Double A does manage to get Empyrean's courier. Empyrean, he did get his items off the courier at least before it did go down. Now this is the one lane for Eboys that they really need to win out. So far things are going pretty well for Giant, but you look at Boris's last hits as well, John. He is just about at the top, only behind his own Viper. Speaking of the Viper, Monkeys Forever, again just kind of committing lane shenanigans here up at this top lane. Still pulling the creep wave away, forcing the tower to take all these creep hits and forcing Speed to farm underneath that tier 1 tower. And uh-oh, Albino caught out for a second, but it looks like Z-Freak did not want to make the roll in. Not confident to be able to get the kill on that Witch Doctor quite yet. They're probably just very happy with the way this lane's going anyway.
Yeah, as long as you're kind of making Speed work for those last hits, perfectly fine. You're finding a good amount of levels on Monkeys. When he hits his level 5, level 6 spike, you have to be worried about the burst damage that comes through on the Viper. So overall, not too shabby for time still, despite the fact that Speed is getting last hits. Monkeys is still denying off the wave, and Z-Freak is just making it a nightmare to play in this lane. Like, they get each sentry ward off, so Z-Freak could just reinvest and block again if he wants to.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the moment where they actually make the jump in. We haven't really seen a roll onto the Witch Doctor yet from Z-Freak, which I'm a bit surprised about. It looks like Z-Freak at this point is going to go ahead and secure the 4-minute power rune up at the top rune spot. This Mio does have the bottle up and ready to go, and desperately wants a full bottle if he can afford to get one. But the top rune spot is going to be occupied. And it is a regen rune on top, so Z-Freak, it's going to be a great denial away from Mio, who really would have loved that. Mio is going to have to continue suffering in this mid lane up against Annihilate.
Yeah, they need to get control there. Like, it's so much easier for the Earth Spirit to zip in and out. That's where the supports of Eboys just doesn't shine. They can't really move as fast. Double A is just stuck in the bot lane, just trying to maximize his combination with Giant. And honestly, the aggression we're seeing from the Bristleback Cottle isn't quite there. Like, you'd expect them to commit their full mana pool at level 2 to 3 to just find a kill, but they have been content with just playing the farm game, and Boris just doesn't care about that at all. Like, this Wraith King's at level 5 now, has the steady build-up in farm, and when you're not abusing that early on, Boris is just going to find a lot more from lane.
Yeah, top lane, we almost saw Albino Zebra dying, but he does make a nice TP out with the cask play. But like you mentioned, looking back at Boris, he's having a great old time on that Wraith King. About to hit that level 6 mark as well, so he's not really going to be fearing for his life too much. Giant, while he's farming nicely on the Bristle, just question whether it's going to be enough as Boris. He goes in with the skeletons now. He's not level 6 yet. He's just trying to make sure that this tier 1 tower doesn't get forced in by Giant. Giant is going to be just fine to pull the creep wave away and keep doing Bristleback things. Meanwhile, top, Speed is getting jumped, and he does go down. Monkeys Forever with the first blood, and now Double A. I think he should have just cancelled that TP, as this is not the position he wants to be in. He's going to try and illuminate, but he's gone. Monkeys Forever, a double kill on the Viper. A very unfortunate set of events occurring for Electronic Boys up at that top lane.
Not what you want to see here from the side of Eboys. Speed already off to a rough laning start. Takes a kill. It takes a death as well, though. Maybe they find a counter here.
Perhaps Monkeys, Melodic should tick him out, and Speed, he does end up helping in getting the kill for Albino. You get some kind of a trade. Meanwhile, the mid lane, another power rune is going to go the way of TOOBASED, as Annihilate denies the illusion rune away from Mio. Mio has not been getting lucky at all on this Void Spirit with the power runes. Very unfortunate time, and his bottle is still just empty. It has been for the last 2.5-3 minutes now.
Yeah,
Nobody's TP'd in either to fill it up.
pretty painful for Mio. On top of that, you've already got the Meteor Hammer on Annihilate. Same timing as the last game, so again, you're seeing mid suddenly get shoved in.
Ooh, nice roll away from Z-Freak. Speed was trying to get the block off with his body, but the Blink Strike brought him behind the Earth Spirit. He rolled down towards the south and got away. He's forever now going to contest that stack of large camp. Should be able to get most of this. Not much in the way of contesting him here. Does have the level 6 timing now on that Viper. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Sanity is being dropped. Mio is so darn low and does eventually die to the Meteor Hammer damage of Annihilate. His hero is just so darn stupid. Once you get that Meteor Hammer up, you can just kill anyone. There's no stopping this guy. They're going to TP in to defend this tier 1 tower. They'll make the jump onto Z-Freak. I think Z-Freak's just going to walk his way out of there. As I Annihilate, another Meteor Hammer is going to be able to take down that tier 1 tower. The Astral there on speed. They just walk away.
I'm looking at Speed, and he's saving up for his own Meteor Hammer here, Mike.
What?
Yes. I don't think this is the play, but he's off to a really slow start, so the Battle for Your timing might have been unideal. This is going to give a lot of value towards TOOBASED, though.
I mean, it helps him farm. I'll give him that, but now he's getting jumped by Z-Freak and I Annihilate. Tricks of the Trade's going to come out, and Albino Zebra does TP into the mid lane. Maledict is also going to be there, but they don't really have the follow-up damage. Illuminate, not going to fly through I Annihilate. In fact, another Astral, but no Meteor Hammer this time. So Meteor Hammer Ricky.
Yep.
That's something I can't say I've seen before, John. Here we go again. Another Meteor Hammer out from I Annihilate, and that should mean the death, though. No, it was just barely mistimed. Speed. Walk away. Butt cheeks clenched firmly. Go into the Ancient stacks now. In fact, he blocks his own Ancient stack, which is a bit unfortunate. Won't matter too much. He'll make his way down towards the south, and it looks like they are going to try and maybe make a play onto Boris. Spot him out.
Boris.
Mio will jump in. Boris doesn't have the Reincarnate up. Ate the Remnant, not going to lock him in either. Mio still moving forward. Boris now does skill up the Reincarnate. He was holding a skill point, and Z-Freak jumps in onto Speed, but Speed does manage to get away. Onto Mio instead, who does not have any Astral Step charges, which means Boris should be able to finish him off, and Empyrean is the one to get the kill. Giant. Looks like he's not going to be able to get a return kill. It's another nice kill for TOOBASED, and Eboys just not finding anything.
Yeah, Boris is just getting everything he wants from the lane. Giant by himself without the Kotl is just not that scary, especially when he runs out of mana. So Boris has been having a good time here. Taking a look at Eboys, you'll be glad to know Mike Speed is actually going for the Battle Fury. So he switches out, but he's got to find that farm somewhere. He can't clear those stacks until that's up.
This is very deep from I Annihilate. He's going after the Witch Doctor. Boulder Smash there. He does have Sanities. He will not commit it. And he gets... The Meteor Hammer actually did enough damage.
It did. Oh, goodness. I Annihilate.
He just walks off. He's like, I know I got this kill. I don't need to commit this ultimate. Be fine.
Oh, you know the painful thing? That's another power rune that I Annihilate picked up. Another haste he makes use of. Just no rune control from Eboys so far, costing them a ton. And they're going to have to give these stacks away to Giant as well. You're not going to have that recovery stack for Speed just yet. The Battle Fury is still a long way off, though.
Z-Freak going to move his way in. Does spot out a very low Giant. He might be able to kill him off, but no, they do have the Hood of Defiance. Z-Freak with the Magnetize, trying to refresh it, trying to get the damage out. They do Astral up the Earth Spirit while Albino Zebra goes onto I Annihilate and Speed chases him down. I Annihilate trying to man-fight this one out. They do kill off Albino, but I Annihilate does also die. Want to back off, but Mio is going for a bit of a chase. Eventually decide better of it. They can get back to these Ancient stacks. The Speed will slowly but surely take them on the Ricky.
Yeah, it's at least going to give him his Perseverance up. Maybe one of the swords as well if he wants to. Going to give him some region to play with. this is just so much space for Boris, though. He went up top. He's clearing up that top jungle. The Radiant's timing is going to be really sharp. We're talking about maybe 14 minutes, 15 minutes for the Radiants, and that's going to cause some issues. Boris is just going to have so much value from that early on.
I Annihilate kills off Mio down at the bot lane just by himself. Looks like he did drop the sanities for that. That one I wasn't quite expecting, and as I look away, Empyrean also gets Albino Zebra. Speed very low in terms of HP, but is not going to be spotted out, and he's going to be able to walk away. Even getting a salve from AA on the Coddle. A 4k net worth lead, and you kind of already pointed this out, but the Radiant's timing is going to be very nice there from Boris. I like the fact that Boris went for the casual gloves of haste and doesn't really waste his time with the Midas build-up. I think that is the right decision to go for here for Boris, and as you can see, without the Midas, he's going to have just such a great timing on this Radiance. It's no Midas necessary for this man.
No, he's just finding all the farm anyway. They forced the movement down bot as well with the pressure on that tier 1, and they look up top.
They want speed, but the roll was never going to be long enough anyway. This is putting pressure on speed, though, to just run across the map, and as we know, Riki does not enjoy farming the jungle. It's a rather slow process, though. Mid lane, Monkeys Forever now, being chased down by Giant on the Bristle. Viper Strike's going to be there, into the egg now from Empyrean. Great positioning, and they even have the dust for Giant. He is dropping very, very low, but he will not get stunned up. Still, they dive in, they're going to try, but Mio, he'll get the return kill. In fact, the Bristle does end up surviving throughout all that. Empyrean now in trouble. Looks like he will die, and eventually does go down to speed. And Giant survived on about 100 HP on that Bristleback.
Yeah, it was fairly close, but that's the tankiest target you're jumping, and without the backup for your OD, it's just a really tricky target to take. So good punishment coming out from Eboys. Definitely needed those kills on the board, and that does help Giant find a little bit more gold to get his timings up. The Hood of Divines has been up and running. Gonna need a little bit more in that Bristle for him to be truly a menace, but I think while you're farming this Bristle back up, Speed is taking the hit. Like, he is not having the best of times in terms of net worth right behind that Bristle. The Battle Fury is going to help, and he's just about 800 gold off. So Speed is sort of recovering quite well with the space he's been given. But the Radiant timing for Boris, again, we're going to see it probably at the 15, 15 and a half, maybe 16 at latest for that Radiant's recipe. And it's just so scary when you have a Raid King with Radiance that early on.
A Giant, he's stuck around. Z-Freak was de-warded that whole time, but Giant really wanted that Ancient stack to be finished up. Unfortunately for him, he will go down to Monkeys Forever. And Monkeys still has a DD rune active. Speed sees that and just says, screw this lane, I'm out of here. Does get the courier though. Which is still going to be quite nice, as that was the Spirit Vessel being completed by Monkeys. He won't have that for another 2 minutes. Into the bot lane, Astral into Meteor Hammer by I Annihilate will mean that Albino Zebra is going to die. But they want to try and make the play for that bottom tier 1 tower now.
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy defense for Eboys. They only got 2 heroes in tower.
Oh, TP cancelled off by Giant. Yeah, that's because he was
he
right
was
behind
recalled.
the tier. Oh, he was okay. Z-Freak?
It's all right.
Z-Freak was getting chased down by Speed. Speed lets him go. Instead, has to focus on Monkeys Forever. Does have the smoke screen to try and lock him down with the nasal goo out from Giant, and they just all jump him. Z-Freak looks like he's going to be alright. He'll just roll away. While the Viper does go down, you are going to lose that bottom tier 1 tower. It's not really all bad news. For TOOBASED, they always seem to find an objective regardless of who dies.
Yeah, they seem to really prioritize those tier 1s. Like, literally all the tier 1s have to go around this time for TOOBASED. And that's mainly what they look for, although...
Annihilate. Aether Remnant going to lock him in. Z-Freak moving in to try and help out, as now a nice egg once again flying in from our Phoenix. Mio is going to go down as Z-Freak and I Annihilate, and now Albino Zebra, he's trying to run, but the Magnetize is going to be there. He's surrounded. He just accepts his fate and tries to go for the Death Ward, but that is going to be cancelled off by Z-Freak. Another nice kill as Z-Freak looks for a bit more. Gonna run straight into Giant. His team may not be close enough to really help Z-Freak out here. Just let the bristleback go. You do have monkeys around now, and that could be more than enough. They're more than happy to just take this this die triangle and just take the ancient stacks away from Electronic Boys. They roll in once again. They want Double A dead on that Keeper of the Light, but Mio is going to be there to try and help out. I Annihilate once again. A nice Astral into the Meteor Hammer. Ooh. It's a much bigger target, and they will get Mio. Z-Freak is going to roll away once again as they jump in onto the Bristle and Giant. He is not looking too big. Z is going to go down, and I Annihilate once again. Another Astral setup, and Albino, he does avoid the roll of Z-Freak, and the Illuminate actually going to kill off Z-Freak. But they do get the kill they came for. Monkeys Forever will take his own teammate for that one. I Annihilate is not done yet, but he does miss the dust.
That was keen on Z-Freak. He missed the first roll, so he was in an awkward spot. You're still really happy with that if you are the side of TOOBASED. You're seeing the power of this Wraith King. Like, Boris just shows up with Radiance. He's going to have a Blink next. How do you deal with 2 lives while burning down with this Wraith King round? In fact, if he finds a Cloak of Flames, then you're truly going to see some balance in this game.
I love me some balance, John. But they know where speed is on this Ricky. Z-Freak now going to definitely know as the Tricks of the Trade is there, and he lands the stun into the dust. He should have a lot of control. The speed is all by himself. And he's gone. Tricks of the Trade, he'll buy a bit more time, but...
The miss?
They get the kill. Mid lane, Giant going to be in trouble now as Boris and Monkeys Forever make the jump in on that Bristle, but Mio is going to be there to try and help out, but they really just can't bite into this Wraith King. That Radiance is just way too scary. Meanwhile, I Annihilate finding another Albino Zebra, going to get stunned up by the Meteor Hammer. Whew. He is going to go down. With this Wraith King joining in now, they could just take down the objective so darn quick as they find another. The roll in into the Nether Toxin onto Giant. He's gone. They are making it look so easy.
Yeah, much more dominant here from TOOBASED in the second game. Bristleback into Viper, it's just not a hero. Like, it takes a lot of items to counteract just one spell from the Viper. It's just way too difficult. They might find I Annihilate as he's being a bit greedy here.
Speed going to try and make the jump in. I Annihilate still being a little bit annoying here, getting the Astral off, and his team is starting to collapse through the dire jungle. And a nice blink away once again. I Annihilate gets himself out as now Albino Zebra. He's been in this position before. He'll try to Death Ward, but it's not going to do much. They even got the dust off onto Speed, but Mio is going to be there to block the way for I Annihilate. Instead, he blinks towards the up high ground and goes for the Keeper of the Light into the Meteor Hammer, but that doesn't actually land. Now Empyrean, a nice egg once again. They're going to try and focus this one down. Can they get it in time? They cannot. I Annihilate helping out, and Empyrean does survive through all of it. Z-Freak now with a great jump in. Double A is going to die. Speed's in massive, massive trouble. And he's gone. He is just gone. A 13k net worth lead, TOOBASED. It's just so dominant from this team.
Oh, yeah. It's scary fighting into this. I don't think the draft of Eboys is really helping the cause. Like, Kotl, Bristleback look good. It's just not enough. Like, now you've got Boris at 17. He's going straight for a Swift Blink. How do you deal with Wraith King? You just can't. You just can't.
That Swift Blink is so darn strong. It's not so often you see it on a strength hero like the Wraith King, but it's like, why the hell not? It kind of suits the POS 1 role, if anything. They had a tier 3 mid-tower going down. They still have the Roshan to play around, so Boris will probably just make his way over to the Roshan pit and get that third life for himself. By the time the Roshan's down as well, he probably will have more than enough to just buy the Swift Blink outright. You're still just kind of looking for an answer here if you are Electronic Boys.
Yeah, and they're still saving up for Speed's Ag, which is going to be a big spike for the Ricky. It it just needs to come out faster. And even with the Ags, you're gonna need like a damage item as well. Ooh.
Yeah, Albino Zebra actually going to be able to walk away here. I Annihilate, not going to go too far. You'd have to pop that BKB charge. Aether Rim not going to land. A Z-Freak, a nice silence onto Mio.
Ouch.
That's just so much damage, and now the Yule's out. Catching out Giant. Boris has a stun in 1 second. They'll just use the Astral into the Meteor Hammer. Giant, once again, has no way out of this. He's just gone. Double A, oh, Z-Freak, he rolls in again, he finds speed on the Ricky. There's your egg from Empyrean. Everything's just perfectly placed, and they are just going to burst them down. No way out for Electronic Boys as I Annihilate. In the backlines, we'll get Albino Zebra, and they call the GG. This game is, it's gone. There is no coming back from this. And TOOBASED, they've done it again, John. Another 2-0 victory for themselves. In terms of series, still undefeated. And with this win, it does put them up above the cut for that first place spot.
Yeah, it just really well played coming out here from TOOBASED. Opening draft didn't change from both teams, but the rest of the picks really did affect that. Electronic Boys, and they went for that Bristleback without banning the Viper. That just felt like a massive mistake. And even then, the Bristle and the Coddle combination just didn't do anything up against Boris. Like, he was 8-0. His lane, maybe at the start, level 1 to 3, was a bit slower, but not slow enough to stop that timing into the Radiance. And TOOBASED just come out on top. You're seeing why they are probably one of the strongest teams here in the lower division. Electronic Boys, they still have to find that win. They're going to have to look elsewhere, as there are some issues still left with perhaps the playstyle and perhaps in the draft as well.
Absolutely. With that, John, I'm not 100% sure if we're going to have an interview. We'll wait around for a minute or so and see if anyone from TOOBASED are going to show up. I mean, quite frankly, it feels like they're going to be having a lot of winners interviews just based on how they're playing. So I don't think they're in too much of a rush to have interviews with us. But we'll wait and see. Still looking very dominant. As I mentioned, John, they are now at the top of the group stage, just above the cut. Both of them undefeated in terms of series right now. And I can only wonder how the matchup between the cut and Simply TOOBASED is going to go. And I believe that one's actually coming up on the 5th of February, if I'm not incorrect with my dates here.
Yeah.
It is this week
fairly
sometime.
soon.
Oh, we've got I Annihilate here, by the way, John.
Yeah. We've got him for interview, so yeah, if whenever we're ready, we can just drag him down.
I'll drag him down now, sir. Hello, Mr. I Annihilate. Welcome and congratulations on your win, sir. How the hell do you feel?
I feel pretty good, you know. First game, I was on my mobile internet because my internet has been working all day, so it was a little rough, but game 2, I had that quick connection, it was over. Nothing they could do.
Is that the reason why that game 1 took longer? Because while we were casting, it feels like every time we cast your team, you guys finish the game in 20-25 minutes. And that game 1 seemed to just last so much longer than we usually see you guys have to commit to. Do you think it was just the mobile internet that you were on that actually made it so you guys had to play slower?
Definitely was a big part of it. I was like definitely playing a slideshow after the game, you know. I was like, guys, just wait for the next frame. You know, I'll be able to cast my spells, no problem. They played pretty well and they had a really good team fight, so it wasn't just that, but yeah.
Absolutely. John, questions, sir?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna ask for us because we were having discussion on what it means to be based. Could you give us your take on what it means to be simply TOOBASED here, Ian?
My friend, I don't know if I can let you in on the trade secret.
Don't worry, I'm in that old Requiem Autumn Weeb server. I know exactly what goes on in there. Don't worry. We all know. You and I, we know. Empyrean knows. We all know what happens. We'll leave Mike out of the dark because no one should go in there. If you're really curious, any of you can ask Nef Sensei. He'll give you a breakdown of the degeneracy of that Discord. But moving on, like we see the OD a lot nowadays. I know, late now. You personally, as a mid player, do you enjoy it down mid, or do you prefer it being flexed elsewhere in that role, or are you perfectly fine with its performance mid? I mean, you did have a really good game number 2. Is it something you'd want to play again?
I think the hero's just beyond broken, so you can go any role. It just worked out better to be mid because I had a good matchup both games. It just provides so much for the team. Like the laning phase with having 8 armor level 1 and whatever movement speed and regen is just enough to carry lane on its own, to be honest. And then just having catch is really nice.
With that, Mr. Iron Eyelid, I have to ask you the, maybe not a hard question for you, just based on the fact that you guys haven't really lost the series, but you've made every series look pretty darn easy. Now, there is another team that's made every series look pretty darn easy, and that's the Cut. And you guys are up against them in about 3 days, I believe, on the 5th of February. How confident are you going up against a team that is also undefeated?
Who are we talking about?
The Cut.
Who?
Cut.
I don't know.
He has no idea.
I have no idea. It'll probably just be really easy.
Very based answer. Very based. Very based.
I was about to ask if you had anything to say towards them before we head off, but I guess that's your answer. You don't even know who they are. You've never heard of them before. Bit beneath you.
Yeah. I just don't know. I mean, I just loaded the game. I press my buttons. The throne explodes. What more can you do?
Oh boy.
Final question, I guess. Do you think you guys are almost guaranteed to go to the upper division next season? Because you guys are looking great. I feel like you guys are just a cut above the rest right now. Are you already kind of looking forward to upper division next season?
I mean, we're still a new team. We're trying our best out there. I think that being in the lower division actually is a nice opportunity for us to all have some time to play together, so we can make a splash in the upper division. But yeah, I think we're pretty much the favorite. I don't foresee too many problems, but anything can happen. It's Dota.
Absolutely. With that, do you have any shoutouts or anything else you want to say before we head off?
No shoutouts in particular. I'm just trying to head to the store before it closes. I just had to wrap that one up real quick. Trying to get some milk. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Well, in that case, I'll let you go to the store, sir. You have a fantastic day, and congratulations on your win today.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. With that, John, love me some trash talk from Mr. Iron Eyelid. Obviously a very confident man. You love to see it.
Absolutely.
Pleasure always casting his games, and I kind of agree with him. I mean, they do look very dominant. They make it look easy, and he was humble at the end. He did explain that it was nice to be in the lower division and, kind of just work with the team and make sure they can gel and coordinate. And I am still very curious to see how they do go up against the Cut. He made it sound like it's going to be a very, very easy matchup. I don't know if I agree with that one, but we're going to find out. John, do you have any final words before we head off for the day?
Well, that's it for I think that's it for NADPC right now. Tune back in tomorrow. Make sure you're following the NADPC Twitter if you haven't. Follow TOOBASED. Follow some of the teams. They do have Twitters, even the lower div teams. So follow them if you like. Give them support. Follow me and Mike as well if you like us. And that is going to be it. We're back tomorrow, aren't we, Mike?
That we are. We're going to be casting the lower division matchup. I believe it's going to be Arkosh versus Byzantine Raiders, if I'm remembering correctly. So should be a very interesting matchup. And we are going to have a special guest casting with us tomorrow. We'll leave it as a surprise. We're not going to say who it is yet, but there is going to be a bit of a tri-cast for the Arkosh versus Byzantine Raiders game. Apart from that, though, it is MLP Dota and JohnXFire. We'll see you all again tomorrow for some more great NA Dota. We'll see you then.